So I used to watch John Oliver all the time when I used to watch The View and Trevor Noah and so on and so forth. But somewhere along the line, John Oliver got a little too woke. And he's...
Who didn't at this point?
Certain people haven't, but most. But Johnny boy, he starts talking about why the Democrats lost the election. And he brings up boys and girls sports, men and women's sports.
Okay.
And it's something else. Here we go.
And finally, regarding youth sports, there were a lot of attack ads on that one issue. And it was frustrating to see the Harris campaign fail to formulate a response, especially because it's pretty easy to do. Watch, I'll do it for you right now. As we've discussed before, there are vanishingly few trans girls competing in high schools anywhere. Even if there were more, trans kids, like all kids, vary in athletic ability, and there is no evidence they pose any threat to safety or fairness. It is very...
False.
No evidence. Really? Okay. First it's not happening. Then it's happening, but it's only a small percentage. Why do you care? It's only a small percentage. That argument doesn't work. It's so crazy that they still use the same arguments 4 years later. Old numbers. Your numbers are old. Yeah.
There's no proof that
no proof.
They have any advantage besides the fact that they have larger hands, larger feet, higher bone density, larger lung capacity. No proof, right?
Peyton McNabb. There were multiple girls that have been harmed competing against biological males.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really...
It's not as rare as you want to say it is.
How can he say that science and facts relating to the difference between sexes isn't real? He's the same guy who was talking about COVID the whole time it was going on. But don't believe this science. Believe the COVID science, but don't believe this science. Because there is no science, apparently, according to him.
The data is not there, even though it is there. It's obvious. It's obvious to most people. We don't always need data to know the truth. Are men stronger than women most of the time? Yes. That is the general rule of life. These are
facts.
To say that they don't exist is ridiculous.
There's no proof. There is proof. You just don't want to see it.
You're neglecting to acknowledge it.
Yeah. Or he thinks that the truth is somehow brought in by Russia, because they always use Russia for some reason.
The truth is just transphobic, and that's why they don't like it.
Right. Or the truth just doesn't exist because they say it doesn't exist. But it does.
It has to. I mean, that's what we all know is the truth because we've all grown up and seen it with our own eyes. Science shows men are usually taller, stronger, larger feet, larger hands. They're better at sports. They're better at athletic things. Women have better stamina. There are things that just are normally in line with your gender. Just because there's a few exceptions does not mean that we should allow everyone in because of a few exceptions.
Here's the proof. 900 medals. Over 900 medals.
Look at she1.org.
Were taken away from women because they were competing against men and those men won those medals over the women. That's proof right there. But you don't want to see it, do you, John? You don't want to see it.
No one on the left wants to see it.
Very weird for you to be so focused on this subject. And finally, if you genuinely want to address...
Hold on, it's very weird. They've been, remember, they started using that. Was it Tim Walt started using that word? Very weird. To try to, make us feel bad about what we're seeing and how we're feeling about that.
It's to gaslight us into believing that we are making them... Like, we're making a situation worse than it is.
Yeah, it's a mean girl tactic.
Mm-hmm.
You've been there, right? Ew,
yes.
Like, why do you care? Ew, why? There's something wrong with you. That's shaming.
It's gaslighting.
Yeah, for something that is very obvious, that's in your face, that is backed by facts.
You know you got kicked in the face, but I didn't kick you in the face. How dare you say I kicked you in the face? That's what it feels like.
Partial paralysis. Getting your teeth knocked out of your face. These are things that have happened to women competing with biological males who say they're women. But of course, the party, the same guy who is for women's rights, has no problem saying that there's no proof that men are more of a threat to women's safety in sports.
Than biological women, yeah.
How can you be the party of women and not know these basic facts?
When you're absolutely against women, actually.
Because that would be against women. That No woman wants to be seen naked by some guy who's in her locker room. No woman wants to see some naked guy who's in her locker room. But of course, he thinks that that's not a problem, and thinking that's a problem is weird. So I guess a lot of women he sees as weird, and that's weird to me. But
What do we
what's
know? We're just
disgusting-
women.
Right. But what's disgusting is that he can sit there and say this and still believe in his own mind that he is for women's rights.
Oh, he definitely thinks he is.
These people are slimy. They're scummy, you know?
They're ignorant.
You just ugh, yucky.
The biggest concern for most girls who play high school sports, you'd be less worried about this and more about the creepy assistant volleyball coach who keeps liking their posts on fucking Instagram.
Yay, all the audience is
Why
laughing.
can't we be concerned about both?
Well, see, here's the thing, is that the creepy guy who's taking photos, he says he's a woman and he's in their locker room and bathrooms and he's in their spas and their centers and all that stuff. So the loophole allows the creepy coach with the cell phone taking photos. It allows them into their spaces. So yeah, we're worried about that guy too, because people like John Oliver think it's okay.
Think it's not happening.
As long as the creepy guy thinks he's a woman, that's completely fine. And there's nothing wrong with it. And we're weird, and there's something very wrong with us if we think otherwise.
Do you not remember the Canadian teacher with the big tits? Wasn't it Canadian?
It was a Canadian teacher. It was the shop teacher. Yeah.
But that's not happening.
No, that wasn't happening at all. No, apparently. I would never want to be on this side again if this is how they're going to continue, because it's not safe being around people who don't believe in reality.
Or think that men aren't a threat just because they say they're not men.
That's not believing in reality.
Yes, but that's a very, like, to say that they're not men anymore is ridiculous. It's crazy because they still have every bit of male advantage.
Johnny here says there's no proof.
Too many people say there's not proof. It's ridiculous.
The bigger point is, at least based on what we know now, anyone pointing the blame for the election result at one specific demographic is missing the mark, because
Leave it, John Oliver. Isn't he on the side of the party that
Lost.
Hold on. Lost? Okay, so let's listen to him because he's got some really good advice, I'm sure. Okay.
And black women. No offense, 92% of them voted for Harris.
Yes, they did. Everyone else moved a little bit more right.
But that's, like I said, not racist. It's true. This is the facts. Facts of life.
So what we've learned here today is that the mainstream media has not changed their tune. They haven't learned anything.
How could they, honestly?
They're shaming the American people for seeing what they see and having an opinion and making that opinion known. And, that's fine. If you want to keep losing, that's fine.
The shame
I
isn't
don't
working.
want the extreme right to be ruling over America either. But at this point, we have to go with the lesser of two evils. And the left, they're the worst because they can't see the forest from the trees. They cannot see what they're doing wrong. They're doubling down and acting like mean girls. And nobody wants to hang around those people. After a while, it gets really exhausting and you just kind of want to move on with your life and get away from toxic people. And that's the left. Like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any opinions about this video. Or if you disagree with us, put it in the comments below.
Follow on Twitter.
And
Nina has other videos. She does music. Follow music.
I do music, and you can join our memberships for early access to our videos, uncensored content, member shout-outs, prioritized commenting, and so much more. Thanks.
Bye.